So yeah, it's going to be interesting fun. This is the third game for both these teams and their last game of the day.
So Huckett started off their defense with a zone, so I'm curious to see what kind of defense Goa is going to put.
All right, so that's the four women on the line. So the gender which has the maximum number of people on the line pull. That's the new rule that's been introduced this season. So Huckett on offense looks like a person defense. An unfortunate drop on the sideline from Huckett. There is a slight wind in these grounds. It's coming from the far side towards the camera, and that's pretty much how this turnover happened as well. Wind just taking the disc up in the air. Oh, there's a good look. Oh, just out of reach of the receiver in the end zone for Huckett.
Huckett seems comfortable swinging, but if there's an open shot, they seem to be willing to take that as well. Were the games earlier in the morning, were they windy, Sisa? Did the wind pick up, or has it been like steady all morning?
Yeah, the wind has been this steady, and now we're seeing a little bit of a drizzle as well, which is going to be interesting to see how teams cope. That's Krishna with the disc, if I'm not wrong.
Once they were able to get past the zone. Oh, we have a call. The disc is being sent back. Was it a pick? Yeah,
that was a big call.
Pick call.
So for the first time viewers, a pick is when there's an obstruction for the defensive player to reach the player that they were marking, and that obstruction could be in the form of any player on the field. That's a good upline and a score by Bits UFC. So Bits UFC 2, Huckett 0. By the way, that was not Krishna on the field, that was a Krishna lookalike. So it is again a 4 women, 3 men line. So how the gender ratio changes is when you start the game, you play, there'll be a toss and the captains would have chosen a certain gender ratio to begin the match with, and that's the first point, and the next 2 points is played with the opposite gender ratio, and the next 2 points with the other gender ratio which was played in the first point. So that's how it progresses. So we're on the third point of the game now. Bits UFC leading 2-0. The rain seems to have caught up now, slightly heavier as well.
when you said about that Krishna mixer, it just struck me. It's been 4 years since I last played here, and going from a time where we pretty much knew everybody who played Ultimate to just come here and see so many new names is just like both fascinating and kind of sad for me that I don't know who's who and who's what right now. It seems to have exploded so much, which is awesome.
Yeah, UPAI's initiatives on NCS National Championship Series, the college ultimate scene, it has grown quite a lot over the last 4 years that was seems not been around. There was a turnover from HUCK, Bits UFC go back on offense. Uh, Bits UFC has a bunch of players who played club on different clubs this last season. So they have a few players who've had more experience, some exposure to more competitive ultimate. HUCK on the other side are players from Azim Premji University. Okay, that oh, that should have been a turnover. But somehow the disc has gone back to HUCK. Oh, nice catch. HUCK looking towards the end zone and an unfortunate drop.
Both teams seem to be pretty comfortable with having 5, 6, maybe 7 swing passes. But then when the time comes for advanced or forward pass, there seems to be a little bit more cleaning up needing to be done. Except in this case. Nice throw. Good look. And that's the score. So far, game-wise, Bits seem to be a little bit more in control of their game than HUCK. Gotta wait and watch if HUCK warm up to the level of the game that Bits has brought in so far.
HUCK on offense. Bits UFC pulling the disc. It's a nice pull into the end zone. Nice catch. A swing towards the near sideline. Nice one-handed catch to swing the disc. It's a good progression, moving the disc from one sideline to the other, while the zone look of Bits UFC. Unfortunate. And the disc rolling all the way to the end zone.
Bits need to watch their cup though. It seems a little too. All the 3 people seem to be pretty close to the thrower.
Stream's not happening.
what they haven't.
Yeah, so that's Bits UFC 4, Huckett 0. It's a quick score. Alright, that's Bits UFC with the pull, which has just landed out, and Huckett are taking it from the sideline. Interesting. I'm not sure if it landed out then. Another zone look. Yeah.
Yeah, the disc having gone out, the first thrower probably had the option to brick it and take it from the middle, but they chose sideline, and they seem to have worked out for them. Number 6 leading the way. Good D, strong D. They have a quick start as well, even before the defense has been set up. Which is showing a lot of patience at this point. Nice. Nice clean offense on the break. Taking their score up to 5-0. At this point, it would be nice for Huckett to kind of regroup, maybe take a timeout, analyze what's happening, so see the areas in which they can tweak right now in this moment. So Sisa, you said this is the 3rd edition of NCS or 4th?
So this is technically should have been the 4th edition, with the 3rd edition being called off due to COVID. The first edition of NCUC National College Ultimate Championships was won by Ashoka. That was held at the Ashoka University. The second one was won by MTB Surat. The third one was called off just before the pandemic. I know a lot of teams were traveling when the lockdown hit and had to return halfway. And this is the 4th edition here in Bangalore at the IASC Gymkhana grounds.
Where was the 2nd edition held? The one that Surat won?
I'm not sure where that was held. That looks a nice look into the end zone, and there's the first score for Huckett. Huckett 1, Bits UFC 5.
Huckett used the wind to their advantage as well. There's a slight crosswind, that's a cross tailwind, that which really helped that disc catch some air and float into the end zone. So that was some good use of the wind. And we are seeing teams struggle a little bit when they're going in the direction towards the going towards the right when there's a cross headwind.
So here's the first opportunity to see the offense line of Bits Goa. Um, Huck ready to pull. It's four women on the line, so you're going to see a person identify themselves as female, pulling the disc as a good one into middle of the field.
The wind suddenly seems to have picked up too. And a somewhat similar throw in the previous point, it aided Huckett to get that score, but this time the wind seems to have pushed the disc further away from the back of the end zone. Right now, it's not necessarily steady wind. There seems to be a lull and then wind picking up. So the more experienced of handlers and throwers will definitely have a slight advantage over relatively newer players and throwers.
A good defense on the upline cut, giving UFC a chance to score, but an unfortunate drop with the disc bouncing off the hands of the receiver there.
Huckett have been playing a vertical stack. They seem to have lined up diagonally. So the D, but as you can see, there's been a foul call. Upline throws are hard in general, but in this wind, it just adds a layer of complexity to it. Hitting those tight spaces. Huckett seems to have some trouble hitting those tight spaces. Alright, they retain the disc. That was a nice D. Bits so far have shown some good patience on the end zone. Let's see how this one plays out. Alright, clean finish.
That's Sri Lakshmi with the score. Hey, rule clarification. Certain. Oh shit! I was speaking on.
Um, the play continues from where the disc went out, not where the person last touched it. So Bits gets to advance to quite a distance. Oh, nice D. Just a little bit more patience would have helped. But then in those situations, you know how it gets. You want to finish the point as soon as you can. This particular formation, defensive formation from Bits is interesting because they have 3 guys on the cup. And they have 3 other women players playing the mid rolls and 1 deep. I wonder if that's tempting the HUCK handlers to throw longer, but it seems to be working for Bits in terms of getting that turnover. Oh, that was a nice floaty pass. Almost there. Bits pretty much had HUCK pinned in their own end zone, but the handler had it enough and he was like, I'm gonna get this out of here. Didn't work out.
It is an interesting. It is an interesting strategy to put the disc away from your defending end zone and play defense. Bits UFC now trying to center the disc. That's a good move. Back to the handler, Ananya. Another deep look to number 25. That's just tailed away. So that's the strategy. I think it's a good force by HUCK, forcing UFC to throw a backhand. They can probably switch that up to force forehand so that the strong side and the weak side of the ground can also be utilized.
With this kind of 3-man cup, HUCK would definitely benefit from having an extra person on the handler, or at least swinging it to their third handler and making that cup work more for getting that D. Alright, that was close. You're seeing a pattern here in this this particular point where 3-4 swings and then a long shot. Bits on the other hand is utilizing a little bit more on some break throws, continuation cuts, and some strong handling as well. There's some contact. Have you noticed what the level of like conversations have been around like foul calls? Are you noticing some sort of pattern or?
No, I haven't. I mean, this is my second game that I've been watching. Looks like that was resolved fairly quickly with HUCK not contesting or accepting that foul call made by the Bits UFC player. 7-1. So that is 7-1 to Bits UFC now.
Yeah, I saw half a match before this, and just looking at this match, it seems to be a pretty healthy way about going about the discussions. People seem to be knowing the rules. Of course, hard to say if you're not up there knowing what's happening, but it seems like people are aware of the rules, or at least how to go about having that discussion around it. That's the one where
Huck it with the disc at their own brick mark. The score is 6-1 to Bits UFC. Wow, that's a nice catch. Another upline. They seem to be liking to move the disc upline, and a great foot block by jersey number 20 Jatin from Bits UFC. Bits on offense, looking to take the half now. If they happen to score this, that'll be half time. Oh, that was a fast one right through the hands. Huck it back on offense.
you can see the impact wind's having on people's throws. There are so many catches that are being bobbled or caught on the second attempt. So it's a good thing that a lot of teams are keeping their passes and the yardage gain short. Nicely done. Huckett get their second point of the game. Scores now 7-2. 7-2.
This edition of the National College Ultimate Championships is brought to you by HMT, the title sponsor, and Canada Bank, who are the title sponsor for the entire fest, the Rhapsody, hosted by the Indian Institute of Science. So thank you HMT and Canada Bank for making this possible for hundreds of ultimate players from across the country. It's a privilege for all of us to be watching, commentating, playing, and bringing this game live to all of you.
I really like the music in the background. It's adding a different vibe to this whole tournament. They're having some sort of sound check going on, but it's definitely adding to a more lively atmosphere right now. We see a lot of teams on the sidelines, but we also see a lot of family and parents sitting and watching.
So Wasim Vaibhav Deshpande says hello, and Nishan Jefferson knew that was your voice.
Mate,
So Huck it on defense. The scores at 7-2 to beats UFC. Uh, Bits on offense,
time.
just ahead of the brick mark. This to Sri Lakshmi, who moves it up line to Adi. Adi looking for cuts. There, the wind taking the disc well above the reach of Sri Lakshmi. Huckett on offense, calling a force of backhand. A nice gainer. Stuck on this near sideline, looking to reset the disc. They look into the end zone for the receiver. Ah, that was close.
Bit starting off their offense from their end zone line. They managed to do a pretty good job staying on this side of the field until that last moment where the Huckett player had a good defense, heads up defense, and they get to do the same that Bits just did now. Oh, just a little high. The thing I'm liking seeing about Bits players is on the turnover, the handlers are quick to pick the discs up, but the cutters downfield seem to be pretty ready to react to that as well. So they have options to pass. All right, with that score, Bits is 8 and Huckett is 2, and that will be halftime.
8 already changed.
What do you think? What are we doing? What should we do better?
The number of viewers has gone up to 20, and I think Wasim and I will take credit for that.
100%.
Alright, we are back after the halftime break. Bits UFC leading 8-2.
So the way the games are going for both teams right now, Bits Goa does not need a lot of adjustment to their game. Things seem to be working for them. But as for Huckett, I hope they've gone to the drawing board and try to identify some areas in which they can clean up their offense. They seem to have good patience uh, on certain sections of the field, but as soon as they're coming towards the middle of the field, they seem to be a little trigger happy. Maybe using their handler strength and swings to move it up a little bit more, and then seeing if they can finish those passes might be one thing that might help improve their game. And on defense, Huckett is has been giving a lot of breakthroughs, so maybe if they can cut that out, they can force Bits to make a little bit more errors. We see two deep cutters, a long throw, almost made it. But the good thing is they at least force Bits to start their offense all the way from their end zone line. That was a really nice completion from number 0 on Bits. Long throw, floaty pass, fading left, making sure the receiver is always on the open side, getting that disc. Bits leading 9 to Huckett's 2. The games are played to 15 or 75 minutes. We have both teams lined up. It's a nice pull, fading in, making it slightly hard for the handler to catch. Yikes. Nice. Just like how we were speaking about a little earlier. On a turnover, the Bits team is very, very quick to react to get their offense going, while Huckett seems to be a little slow on switching from offense to defense on turnovers. Bits 10, Huckett 2.
Alright, that's a great pull by Bits UFC. Almost in front of the end zone. Trying to swing it to the middle of the field. That was almost a Hackett still very close to their end zone. Not gaining yards, but I've patiently moved the disc around. There's a poach, there's a look, and a defense from the deep. Bits UFC with a chance to go up 11-2. That's one pass straight into the hands of the receiver.
Just the chemistry between the players in Bits also seems a little bit more smooth than Huckett. So for the National College Championship, um, the players are eligible to play if they have a current admission in a college, but because last year's tournament was cancelled, this year UPAI has allowed students who have graduated but were eligible to play last year to form a team or play in their respective colleges as well. So this time you have a mix of students who are currently enrolled as well as people who have graduated college last year. And that's a score for HUCK. They worked the disc up pretty well and showed a lot of patience near the end zone, and that seemed to have reaped some rewards for them. HUCK have gone up to 3 points right now, and Bits is at 11. Score is 11-3.
Huckett starting on defense. That pull landed in. Sri Lakshmi with the disc, moving it up line to Adi. Adi with the turn, trying to center the disc or look for downfield cutters. Unfortunately, ended up not finding anybody. Huckett with a chance to lower the gap. That's a nice save by jersey number 2 Shravan. Oh, and a hand block. Is there a call? No, there's no call. It was interesting to see. And now we have a person streaking deep and into the end zone for a score. That's 12 to Bits.
I'm really liking number 10 Bits Adi's throws. They seem to have a little bit of angle on it, but just enough to keep them floating and going. And often they're coming into the thrower while being a little leading at the same time. We've seen multiple long throws follow that same kind of trajectory, both on forehand and backhand. Bits with yet another break and a chance to increase their gap more. That was a good look. Receiver stood in one spot, giving the defense an opportunity to have a run through D. We see a deep cut, rewarded by a deep throw, and a nice read from the defender on Bits. Bit of a slinging match going on right now. Bit sideline egging their team on to get a Callahan now that HUCK is trapped in their own end zone. That was a stall out claim and looks like it's not being contested. So HUCK have managed to get themselves stalled out in their end zone. Bit setting up their end zone play. That's Ananya? Is that Ananya? Ananya, the handler, is walking up. That's a simple score. Bits leading 13 to 3. They're 2 away from finishing the game. You know what the we see some of Bits' regulars on the sideline. It seems like they have taken the opportunity to give some of their younger, newer players a little bit more game time and have their more regulars play fewer points in this game. The disc on the pull just barely going out. So Huckett have started the brick call. Nice sharp cut to an open receiver, but went through her hands unfortunately. Bits 2 points away from claiming this game. And with yet another break, we see deep cuts going long. The handler really tempted to throw long, but reels it in. Nice D. There seems to be some contact. On the face of it, it looks like number 10 Adi got the disc, but obviously there was contact, and the receiver on Huckett is having some discussion. Foul's been contested, so the disc has gone back to the thrower. People are going back to the positions that they had just before the throw.
Not bad, Wasim. You seem to remember all the rules, even though you've now transitioned to playing frisbee golf more.
Yep. That was one of the things that I was nervous about commentating. Is I knew my rules pretty well when I was playing, but it's been so long, so I was like, well, Sisa, you got to talk about the rules, and I'm just gonna be like, All right, Huckit gets another score on the board for them, so that's 4 for them, and Bits stay at 13. So over the course of the pandemic, around the world, disc golf really took off simply because it was one of those sports where you can play by yourself, or you don't need a big number of people to play. So it was kind of COVID safe. And where I live in Latvia, it really exploded. Every 3 months, we saw a new course being set up. Places like the States, everywhere, the level of the tournaments just blew up. And there has been some efforts trying to see if we can get disc golf going in India as well, but like the real estate is the problem. Finding big places for Ultimate itself has been challenging, so setting up a 9-hole or an 18-hole course has to be either really far away or really expensive.
There seems to be some kind of confusion on the field regarding the gender ratio, I'm assuming, looking by the conversation that's going on. Teams have understood and have decided to repull. Huck it with a pull. Bits taking their time to walk up to the disc and set up their offense. A zone look by Huckett. An unfortunate drop. Bits on their own end zone line. Now back in the end zone. Swing to Ananya. Ananya to Sri Lakshmi. Oh. Sri Lakshmi trying to advance the disc. Put out a blade. Cause the turnover and huck it back on offense now. Oh. Right through the crowd. And Bits get the turn.
Huckett defense can really benefit from holding their mark on the disc mark and not allowing themselves to be broken so often. Nice D. The zone is slow to set up for Huckett, and Bits are taking use of that. It looks like they're trying to transition into person defense, but it was too little too late, and Bits is 1 point away from claiming this game as their own. Are they?
Okay, looks like maybe we got the scores wrong, and that or no. Bits getting too excited and calling that a game, only to be corrected by the scorekeepers and the awesome commentators that they were wrong. So game has to go on. It's 14-4 in favor of Bits.
A lot of times in situations like these where you have a substantial lead, this is an opportunity for teams to really stress on the importance of finishing strong, because time and time again we've seen teams with big leads be complacent only for them to either end up barely winning or even losing by teams that make a charge trying to overcome that deficit. And same for teams that are lagging by a lot of points. These are good opportunities for them to really hone their mental skills, to see if they have it in them to keep fighting till the game is really done. While Bits is just 1 point away, we still have at least 10-12 minutes left on the game clock. Let's see if Huckett is able to have a little bit of fight towards the end, just to make it that much harder for Goa to finish this game. Deep look, looks a little behind, and that is an incomplete pass. Turnover from Huckett, giving Bits a chance to close this once and for all. Sri Lakshmi has been handling pretty well all game. A little bit of an errant pass there from number 20, Jatin. With that crosswind too, like a Blady backhand tends to be pushed down more than usual. You could see that happen. You have a long pass, unfortunately to no one. Strong handler movement. Again, you see that the need for that touchy throw when you're throwing with the crosswind. Huckett look like they're trapped on the sideline a bit. trying to get rid of that spot. And they have a turnover in the end zone. And that's game for Bits. 15-4.
Right. That's it from Wasim and me for this game. Thank you all for tuning in. See you all at the next game. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, folks. It was a pleasure doing this.